Hello, welcome to Movie Mates, a podcast where we discuss the best ways to spend your movie dollar dues. As always, I'm your mate Adam, and with me is my mate and your mate too, Ben.
Heyo. I hope you've all been spending your dollary dues very well in the last few months.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think Christmas shopping. I was like, where are all of my dollary dues?
Must spend. Must feed the machine, Adam.
I also had to renew my Disney Plus subscription as well.
There you go. There's your dollary dues being used in a...
It was a bit of a toss-up. I wasn't sure whether I would renew or not, but then but they did a very smart job of making sure people that got it early to renew, if they got it for a year, they had to renew before the Mandalorian season ended.
Like, son of a bitch.
Find out or lose your money.
I am still stealing Disney Plus subscription from my sister.
Oh, really? So I thought you were stealing it from me. I was like, if I cancelled it, would have ruined your life as well.
No. I have many sources of free streaming.
Oh, I steal from everyone.
Everybody. No, it's a sharing economy, my friend. Everybody shares with everybody.
So we'll get to it. Today we are going to be reviewing Midnight Diner, a show on Netflix.
That is true.
I don't even know when it was added to Netflix, honestly.
But we got exposed to it maybe about a month ago.
Yeah. So the show is a show from 2009 that ran all the way to 2019.
Yeah.
It's a Japanese slice of life show.
Yep.
So obviously, because there's actually quite a lot of this show that kind of comes into our review of it, we obviously have not seen every episode of this show already. But we're here to give you our first impressions because it was something that got recommended to us, and it's like it is funky and. I don't know. It's just kind of one of those weird shows.
It is a weird show, but it is very much aligned with this is not something we would normally come across.
Yeah.
So let's give it a watch and let you guys know what we
absolutely.
think. Yeah.
So, Ben, probably should do a plot synopsis of the show, right? So basically this show is about a man mysteriously known only as the Master who runs so already it starts ominous, but honestly the man just owns his own little
diner,
a little diner
shop,
and where he opens it at midnight and he runs it till like 7 a.m. So it's like off hours, not a lot of people will be coming in and out, but he basically has this tiny little menu, but his rule is if he has ingredients for it,
he'll make it.
It's
like ask for whatever. If he can make it, he'll make it.
So the idea is that he gets all these regulars coming in and they're kind of telling them their life story. Yes. And so each episode is focused on a new one of his regulars. And their story and what they're currently going through in their lives, which is
it's interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting. So and the thing is sometimes if someone was a featured person in an episode, they might still appear in future episodes.
Yeah, but just only as a side character.
Yeah, just be like, oh hey, because
a background character.
Yeah, it's funny as well. I think to set this up as well is that the diner in this particular diner in Japan, and we've actually been to similar bars
something
when
like
we
that.
were there as well, is that only at most maybe six.
I reckon his one was a little bit bigger than the one we were in.
Yeah.
And it would, because it had 3 sides to the
table
as opposed to just 2.
Yeah.
So he would probably be able to 8 to 10 people, absolute max.
10 I think would be
is
maybe
pushing it.
6 to 8 people.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the whole thing. And because, and the way these little diners are structured is that most of the space is actually the kitchen. And you just kind of eat
at the table by the kitchen where they just bring the food out, boom, off you go. You see him all the time cooking everything.
Yeah, and quite often, I don't know whether it's the store that is supposed to be the place he's in as well, but quite often, those little things, they were 2 stories, and
they
the
just
person who ran it just lived on the
upstairs.
second floor.
Yeah.
That was their house.
That was certainly the case of Old Town where we went, where it was just these narrow little streets of pretty much every single house was like that.
Yeah.
So it's just little hole in the walls effectively is what you'd think of it if you were looking at here or in Melbourne or something. And it's just these tiny little compact houses that you can tell they were houses and they've just converted the bottom floor to be
a little restaurant or a little bar thing. Or something. It means that if you go to one of these places,
it's going to be intimate.
And you're even if you're just by yourself with one other person or friend or whatever, you're going to be talking to the person who's making your food because the physical distance between you guys is so close that it would be weird or rude not to talk to them.
Yeah, not to interact in any way. But what we found and what this show shows is that they are generally, and I say this off 2 examples, just friendly people that you can interact with easily and just be like, yeah, I'm talking about my own thing, but I can very quickly throw you into the conversation.
Well, I think people that run these businesses are going to be very used to talking to whoever
random
comes
people
in
about anything and everything.
Learning about who they are. And that's why this show kind of comes from, of being like,
exactly.
Oh, you know,
it's
like new regulars come in and you have a chat to them and they tell you your name,
find out
and
their story,
their favorite meals, and you know,
and I think that's really the point of this show, right? It's like you said, it's a slice of life thing, but it's just like this one little diner is the crucible to all of these stories coming into one place.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Hence why we can experience so much, because all of these people coming from all over the city or whatever.
And quite often they seem more to be like more untold stories, because the idea of the diner being open from 12 till 7 is now where
it's an unusual time period.
A lot of people will be asleep by then. So a lot of the people are people who like run their own bar or club, or people that are in the nightlife, or the first episode, which we will talk about, had like Yakuza gang member, like people that generally wouldn't, like, who are going to have a favorite spot to eat, but be up every night at like 2 a.m. kind of thing. Yeah. Because that might be the hours they work.
They do. Yeah.
So anyway, Ben, how did you feel about this show?
I have mixed feelings about this show. It was funny because when you were like, all right, let's give the synopsis, I was like, what synopsis can you give? So what I see, I like it.
Yeah.
But because I've only watched 3 episodes, the 3rd episode made me very, not uncomfortable. Uncomfortable is the wrong word. I did not like the 3rd episode.
Right, okay.
It was just, it irritated me. That's what it was. Not uncomfortable, it irritated me.
Yeah.
Just because of the characters, if nothing else.
I mean, they're unlikable. Like a lot, and what we'll get into is a lot of these stories, like they might have satisfying conclusions, but not always have. The 3rd episode you're referring to does have a happy ending, but there are episodes that don't really have a happy ending.
Second episode, for example,
it's just like
it's part of. But that's that. So that. But I think that's also part of. That's the good thing about the story. Yeah. It's not. It doesn't follow a format.
No,
it's like each episode is its own standalone thing, effectively.
Yeah.
And it just tells the story as it needs to be told, rather than trying to say, introduce a character, introduce some complexity, introduce some problem, introduce a resolution, happy ending. It does not follow a structure whatsoever.
Yep.
It just goes through the story for those very specific group of people for that period of time.
Yeah.
And the first 2 episodes we watched, I was like, this is interesting, weird, interesting, but it had me engaged. And then the 3rd one, I was just like, like, I like this show, I don't like this episode. I think that's kind of my takeaway from it. That's my feeling for it.
By being so like wild and like not formulaic, that sometimes you might hit. It can be hit and miss. Where you're like, yeah, this one didn't really do it for me.
Exactly. Okay. So as a whole, I enjoyed it, but I can imagine that can be a consistent theme for me, where it's just like, I really enjoyed 5 of them, and then the 6th one, and then the next 3 I will enjoy, and then the 9th one, whatever.
I'll tell you, the episode you're about to watch after this one is a pretty weird one as well. It's kind of strange, but like, again, it's different.
It's a different thing, right? And it's very different from 1, 2, and 3. And what I found so far is that every single episode has been very different.
Yeah.
Which is good, which I like, because it is fresh. You're not going to get bored of it because it's, I'm watching the same thing again and again. Like if you watch like those like primetime cop shows or anything like that, or like a House,
a Law and Order,
or anything where it's just
fantastic,
like, this is the exact same thing every single episode.
Yeah.
Like, this is not that.
And there's there are a comfort to those shows, right? People like those shows
because you can just turn it on, like do other things and ignore it, and just kind of have it playing, and you still follow the story because you know exactly what's happening.
Yeah.
But this is definitely not one of those things. Yeah. And when I was watching this episode, the 3rd episode, I should say, I was tempted to be like, you know what? I have a few other things that I need to do. I wanted to get up, but because it's subtitles, I was just like,
So that's the interesting thing. I think this show would be like really perfect for just kind of watching it as like a lazy Sunday kind of thing.
Odds and ends, yeah.
Yeah, but the idea of it, because it's in Japanese, is that it's subtitled, so like Western people will...
You have to sit and watch and read.
Yeah. You're not going to be able to like do other stuff. But I mean, I guess you probably could. I mean, like if you're folding laundry or whatever, like you're just kind of like doing stuff and watching,
mindlessly doing something in front of the TV.
But like, I don't know. I feel like this show just has a really good energy for just kind of wanting to watch something that is. I felt like really relaxed watching it.
Yes,
like it's a very relaxing watching show.
Yeah.
Even if the storyline is a sad one, like I feel
the first 2 episodes gave me that feeling very strongly. Like we watched it, and I was like, man, I felt good watching that. And then you're like. I don't know if it was you or someone else, like, or Leah or something. It was just like, but the topics weren't nice. Like, it wasn't.
Second episode's very sad.
Yeah, but I was just like, oh, yeah. Like, the episode was sad, but the general feeling to it was quite relaxing and pleasant.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
I think that's definitely the general vibe of the entire series, except maybe the occasional one where it's just like,
well, that's why I kind of like, it's interesting that, like, we're talking about these kind of, these kind of shows now is because like I feel with a lot of stuff with coronavirus and going on lockdown, like I think these kind of shows
would be good.
Are really good to have a space for just being able to sit down and watch something and kind of feel like shows that have inbuilt like so much tension and cliffhangers and what'll happen next time and like those are great. But it's really nice to have. It's almost like a release valve. If you just want to watch TV, but you're just kind of like, I just want to watch something, and it's just an episode. It's like an episode of a thing. Like in the same way people love watching like reruns of Friends or Seinfeld or kind of shows that are like, again, episodic, and it's just like watching a whole bunch of people goof around for half an hour.
Do nothing.
You have a bit of a laugh and then you stop. This is the same kind of show, although it's more of it's a drama. It's not like a comedy where a lot of people will always watch an episode of their favorite sitcom.
Yeah.
This is like a drama version of that same feeling. So it's nice and relaxing and it feels comforting, but at the same time,
it tells very interesting
and
very
deep different stories. Yeah, I like it a lot. I definitely agree with you. Like in the episode, the third episode that you referenced as well is it isn't as like I didn't like it as much as the first couple either.
Yeah.
There's I had to remind myself a few times. I was like, this is also one. There's some cultural differences.
Yeah, exactly.
One,
yes.
And two. There's also this kind of, I feel like with the Slice of Life show, I was kind of reminded that like, I'm not going to like all of these people.
Exactly.
Like that's the thing of like these people coming in and they're regulars and these are their stories, but they might not be pleasant people.
Exactly. Not pleasant people or not particularly interesting stories to us.
Yeah.
So like there are going to be a few episodes where it's just like, okay, that didn't hit the mark.
And obviously because due to cultural differences, a Japanese audience might relate to or strike a chord with different characters than what we may.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
Obviously like we're looking at the show through a different lens.
From a very Western perspective.
Yeah. But I think in general it's pretty good. I would definitely recommend this to someone to watch. Although I think that like if they were like, hey Adam, I'm looking at picking up a new TV show where I can kind of just chill out while I watch something, I'll be like, man, if you just want to hop on the couch, get under a blanket and watch Midnight Diner, you'll have a great time. I think that'll be a lot of fun. It's definitely not going to be your most gripping television, but it's something
chill.
that is nice and comforting.
Yeah. Along that line, my thoughts as I was like considering how to kind of review this is it's almost unfortunate that it's in Japanese because I think similarly, not just the sit down and get comfortable and watch, it would also be very good for I'm just doing odds and ends around the house and I'm watching / listening
Would
to
you
this.
watch this if there was like a dub of it?
I'd certainly give it a try.
Yeah.
I've seen some really good dubs on Netflix in general.
Depending on
it depends on how well they dub it. So I've watched like Dark and bits and pieces, and you watch the dub. Initially, it's just like, oh, the mouth movement and the sound voice kind of throws you off a little bit. But after like first half hour or the first episode, you're just like, that's just normal. Like you kind of forget that it's dubbed and it's done well enough that it's not a problem.
Okay.
So in that scenario, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But otherwise, I would still recommend it. I just think if anybody's going to be watching it, to be aware of what we've just thrown in here to say, yeah, there's going to be cultural differences. Yes, there's going to be an occasional episode here and there that just doesn't sit well with you. And the thing is, you can skip these. Like halfway through this third episode, I was just like, should I just skip this now?
Because, just watch the next episode. You honestly probably really could do that. I didn't even think about that.
I think you really could, because again, it's not an ongoing story. You're not going to miss anything.
No, they're completely sealed stories.
You'd be okay to do that.
So I will say as well, the acting is not great.
No,
it's not great.
Not.
But like,
I don't think it's supposed to be though.
Well, yeah, it's supposed to be like, again, it's that kind of comfort TV, right? I don't think I'm really expecting some high quality, or even the sets and things like that. It's like, well, I think a lot of it is not set. It is literally like they filmed on location.
Yeah.
But some like they'll go to a bar or they'll go to wherever, and it looks pretty dingy. But I'm like, they could have easily filmed this on location, just at like someone's bar that was they
were able to rent out for half a day or something.
Yeah.
Anyway, that aside, I think it's certainly worth a watch.
I still don't think that doesn't detract. The other thing as well that made me absolutely fall in love with this show, like at the end of the first episode, where they do this in every episode.
Yes. But that was the biggest surprise.
So at the end, the dish that the
character that the story is about,
on, so they will tell you how to make that dish at the end. They'll actually like the credits will roll and it'll come back and it'll be obvious, like
it'll still be in the diner. It'll
be in the diner, but it'll be the character. Generally, it's one of the regular or one of the regulars themselves talking to the camera like out of character, and they'll be like, "Oh, so if you want to make this, maybe here's some tips. Maybe when you're making this, you pour the tea in first, then you put the rice in so it doesn't get too soggy, and you're just like."
This is so bizarre.
Holy shit.
But also awesome because it's just like...
Take some notes.
I think in a Japanese environment, like if I was of a Japanese family and watching that show and going, oh, I like that dish. And then they told me how to make it at the end. I'll be like, fantastic.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to make this next chance I get. Yeah. But here for us, A, you can definitely still do that.
Yeah, you could do it.
But B, it's more entertaining rather than a cooking segment.
It's so bizarre because it's not even like they do half an hour of a cooking segment at the end of the show.
It's literally like a minute.
It's like a minute or something, but they'll give you some like quick pointers on how to make the dish like nicer. And I was like, it's so bizarre. It was
so random.
I love it. Yeah, it was really cool.
Yes.
So there's a I don't know, there's a lot to like about the show. But again, it's one of these shows that we kind of recommend you of being like, this show might latch onto you because of the particular mood that you're in or like the kind of content you want to consume. But it's very different. And I think if you're feeling like you just want to...
If you just want something
mellow
safe
out to something, and
normal.
just like chill out, then this will be a good show.
I think that sums it up quite nicely. It is a good show.
Yeah.
And it is something you can just watch at your own leisure.
Yeah. And exactly. Like I didn't feel the need to like jump back in and immediately be like, I've got to binge this whole season. Because the other show that I've been watching a lot of, which we'll tease because we probably will review it next time, is Avatar.
Legend of
Korra, which is the controversial one.
So to move on from that though, instead of our usual spoiler territory period, this is probably the last cast for the year that we are looking to do. We are leading into the Christmas period. A lot of people are going to be having some time off. We're going to be having some time off.
Yep.
So there's hopefully, very much hope so for everybody, there's going to be a lot of downtime.
Yep.
So I believe what we wanted to do was give a couple of recommendations around what you can do during that downtime related to the Christmas period. Or if, God forsake, we go into another lockdown for those of us in Australia.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the niche review of what is happening at the moment for us is that... Because I actually looked at our analytics and we have more viewers in the US than Australia, which is crazy. Thank you everyone for listening. But so Sydney is on the edge of going into another lockdown, which is not great right before Christmas.
Exactly.
But that is
a possibility.
That's a possibility right now. So we're now kind of looking at this period of being like, all these plans that we'd all made to see family and friends, even locally,
may not feasible anymore.
So obviously, for people in the US as well, that's
their day to day.
That is what is happening now. Yes. That's not going to change, unfortunately. So us people in Sydney might be in that same boat as you guys. So like the idea of like what can you watch or hang out. Like I've watched a lot of stuff through the website Netflix Party. Which has been like fantastic.
Sharing it with other people to be watching at the same time. Disney Plus also has that built in now.
Oh, really?
Like you can watch. So my partner and I have done that on Netflix, but also on Disney Plus, where you can
Disney Plus through the app.
It sets up a group and you watch the same thing at the same time.
I haven't actually tried that yet.
I think we watched Mulan.
That's
using
awesome.
That. So it was really cool. It's not quite as polished as Netflix Party.
Well, Netflix,
but it does
Netflix Party, I don't think, is a Netflix
it's not
thing,
called
right?
Oh, no, it's a third-party thing.
Netflix Party is a third-party app.
It's even called something else now. It's not even called Netflix Party anymore.
All right, okay.
Anyway, so yeah, Disney Plus does it as well. So I think I'm hoping a lot of streaming services are going to be catching on to that. To just be like, hey, people want to watch things together.
We'll put that. We'll put the link. We'll get the link.
Yes.
For whatever it's called now. If it's not Netflix Party, and I've just completely screwed this whole thing up.
No. Most people still refer to it as Netflix Party.
So we'll get the link, and we'll put the link in the in the description of the video, so you can start setting that up. And I believe all you need is you need a Netflix account.
You need a Netflix account, and you need to install the plugin onto your browser or whatever.
So it's
easy
like
peasy.
Really easy.
Yeah. And it's very straightforward to use. You share your room and someone clicks that link and you hop in.
Cool.
Done.
Yeah.
So I effectively have two lists. One being just movies that I'm like, yeah, watch it. Like these are two things that are in one list. There's two movies. And then the other one is here is a series.
Okay,
it will be a big time sink
as well,
and that you will enjoy. All right. So first off, movies.
Yep.
Being the Christmas period, I was just like, when we were talking about this, I thought about it for a second. I was just like, you know what? I have an absolutely favorite Christmas movie that I love to watch.
Yeah.
And I don't care for Christmas movies generally.
Yeah, I'm not a massive. That's more Leah's bag.
Yeah.
I do like Christmas movies. I have a Christmas movie on my list as well that I really like.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the one that I'm recommending for everybody to watch, if you haven't already, and if you're not a 90s kid, you probably haven't heard of.
Sure.
Oh, and yes, I count myself as a 90s kid. Jingle All the Way.
Jingle All the Way.
That is an old movie. It is not the best made movie. It is Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, that's a classic.
And I can't even remember who the...
it's 96.
96?
It's with... who's the... Oh, my gosh.
Who's the side character? I'm not sure. I can't remember now.
Sinbad in it. Oh, no, it's Jake. It is Jake Lloyd. It's Jake Lloyd. Which is famously... Anakin Skywalker in episode 1.
Yeah. So
they're like his two biggest roles, I think. Literally Jingle All the Way and Anakin Skywalker.
Yes. So yeah, that is an old favorite. I have not watched it in years now, but I've probably watched it like 2-3 times in the past, and every single time I've absolutely enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I'm hopeful that it's not like one of those movies that's like, oh, that has not aged well, because probably.
Yeah, it's 90s. There's always a coin flip.
Yeah. But in all honesty, I recommend it to everybody. I thoroughly love and enjoy it. And then the other thing, kind of like just going completely in the opposite direction, is something that I watched recently that I was just like, wow, this is a fantastic movie.
Yeah.
Knives Out. I know a whole bunch of people have probably already seen it.
Oh my gosh, yes.
But in all honesty, if you haven't seen it, absolutely watch it.
If you have not seen Knives Out, you need to go watch that. Where can people watch that?
I watched it on Prime.
You watched it on Prime? Okay.
Amazon Prime. But I'm not sure if there's other means
I don't believe it's on
to get to
Netflix. I think it always depends. We're always talking from a Netflix Australia angle.
Correct.
Yeah, I don't think it's on Netflix Australia.
So for me, it was just a fantastic movie. Like, I'm very much a type of person where I'll be watching something and I'll try to anticipate what happens. Even when I'm playing games, I try to be like, what's the twist going to be? What's going to happen? And so on and so forth. So
it's great. The cast is amazing. It's so good.
Cast
the writing's
is amazing. And I've seen several whodunit movies in the past, and generally it's very like, formulaic and straightforward. This one gives you enough twists and enough changes.
It's great.
It structures it well enough that it's just like, yeah, this is really good. And it keeps you guessing and keeps you interested and engaged the whole way through.
Also, that movie, Chris Evans, it just delivers.
Fantastic character.
Fantastic.
He's the thing is, like, fantastic shitbag.
There's so many other characters like Jamie Lee Curtis. Like, there's some fantastic performances across the board. Very
Daniel
enjoyable.
Craig.
Daniel Craig is hilarious.
Yeah.
He's great. Like, everyone does a great job, but like Chris Evans, just to me, like fresh off, I just quit the Avengers, kind of like I don't have to play Captain America anymore, and coming out in his performance in Knives Out is just awesome. It's so good. He cashes in every chip of being the nice guy.
Yeah. Like, I'm done with that now.
Of audiences knowing him as a good person.
I'm done with being Captain America now.
It's amazing. It's so good.
Shall I go into my time sync?
Actually, can I do my
let you do your
first?
Yes.
Okay. So let me be very quick with mine. The first one as well is a movie that probably everyone has seen, but I try to think about movies that you could put on when you've got like family over. So very much all ages. And the first one that I always come back to for an all ages thing is Enter the SpiderVerse.
Oh, yes.
For me, that is like a movie.
For sure.
I watched that a whole bunch of times.
That is my favorite movie.
The cinema,
just straight up,
cried every time. And then I like, so you can watch this on Amazon Prime, I believe, in Australia. That's where you can access it. I don't know about other platforms in other countries, but I know that's where it is in Australia.
Yes.
I have the Blu-ray personally, so I just watch it.
Just watch it as many times as you want.
It's one of those movies that I love so much that I want a physical copy, so I can always watch it.
No matter what happens. I can
never not watch this movie. But it's such a crowd pleaser. So to me, I'm always like, hey, if people are over and they don't want to watch a Christmas movie, that's always something that everyone is going to enjoy.
Exactly.
Christmas movie. I watched this last year, I believe, or maybe I think it was this time last year. Man, this year has just been a whole whirlwind.
Blur.
It's a blur. I think the first time I watched this was last year. Was Klaus, if you've seen Klaus.
And that is on Netflix.
It is on Netflix.
Yes.
It is a fantastic Christmas movie.
And it's an animated movie.
It is. It's like it's like a 3D kind of. It's like a CGI, but the animation style is very distinct. Very distinct. Yeah. It's a phenomenal movie. It's basically the telling of how in this universe, like how the myth of Santa Claus kind of starts from being like this guy, this old man who just makes toys in his workshop. And there's like a city fighting on both sides that are kind of like they're just at war with each other. And this poor mailman who just doesn't want to be there is trying to kind of get by. And he ends up partnering up with this old toy maker to try and make everyone's lives just like a little bit better. And
very wholesome.
It's a really beautiful story, and there's some really touching moments in it. I don't know. It's just a very wholesome movie, and I thoroughly recommend it. Again, there's not many movies that I fucking lose my shit and cry in, but that was
another
one of them. So it's really nice. It's really
you
good.
You say that, but now you've just listed two movies straight off the bat.
Well, that's why I'm recommending them, though, Benjamin, because they tug at the heartstrings. Okay, so
all right, time sync.
Yes.
So all three of these are series that I've watched that I thoroughly enjoy.
Yeah.
And I'll pump through them very quickly, but to lead into it, what I'm thinking and why I'm recommending these is because a lot of our friends are starting families, and I know quite a few people that are spending time with their kids, and so I want to recommend something that would be enjoyable for someone like me or someone of our age or older, but also enjoyable for their kids. And I was just like, but then I just remembered that I have literally given this list to one of my coworkers and just been like, you want to watch something with your kids? Watch these ones. They watched it. They loved it. And they were just like, she kept coming back to me. It was like, give me more suggestions. Because what else do you have? So I've given her a long list, but I'm narrowing it down to three.
Yep.
The first one is without a doubt Avatar: The Last Airbender. We've talked about it.
That's on my list. That is on my well, because it's something new on Netflix. I always assume people have probably seen this,
but if you haven't,
not always. No,
not always.
If you haven't, please. I rewatched it recently. Such a good show.
Exactly. So Avatar: The Last Airbender started off as kids focused, but then shifted tone a little bit. But it handled that very well.
If you are an adult watching on your own, I think you'll be fine. It's not.
You'll be okay.
Not the first season is not a struggle, but it clearly hits its stride in the second season onwards.
Yes. So all three of these are in the same similar vein. We have Voltron.
I have not seen Voltron.
I recommend it.
Really?
I genuinely recommend it. Similar sort of the thing. It starts off a little bit childish, like geared at a younger audience, and then it gets more serious and delves deeper and gets more emotionally driven as well. And then the third one, yet again in a similar vein, Dragon Prince. So
I love I'm not up to date with Dragon Prince, but I saw I don't think I've even seen the full first season.
Yeah.
But I watched the first 6 episodes and I was like, I've got to keep watching
this.
It's
fantastic.
It's
it is
really
absolutely fantastic.
Great family show.
Yes. And so that's kind of the theme that I was going for with all three. It's something that you can watch with your kids and that you will both enjoy, potentially on different levels, but very enjoyable for anyone and everyone that's watching it. So those are my 3 recommendations for you to smash through over the break.
Okay.
So those are my 3.
Fantastic. Well, one of them you've already covered.
Stolen.
Yeah,
yes.
Avatar Last Airbender. Absolutely. I would also say Legend of Korra as well. Go watch that. Tune in for our review. I don't know.
Coming whenever.
I hope maybe we might be able to fit another review in. We'll see what happens. But if not, we will greet you in the new year with Legend of Korra.
Exactly.
That means you get to watch a whole bunch. However, I will say to watch Legend of Korra, you do have to watch Airbender.
Yes.
Because if you don't watch,
you'll have no idea about the world.
There's a lot of contextual stuff that you just will not get and miss. And the coolest part about it is the world building. And the world building only comes because of watching Airbender.
Last Airbender.
Anyway, Airbender is, I think, critically acclaimed to be far better anyway. Go watch Airbender. Then if you love it, which I assume you probably will, then go watch Korra. The other one that I was going to say is a show that I watched. I finished up maybe 6 months ago, maybe a bit less even. And that was Star Wars Rebels. That's the other show that I want to recommend.
Yes.
It is a phenomenal, obviously, Star Wars Disney Plus.
I keep seeing that because I just finished watching Mandalorian.
A good show. Well, there's actually a lot of stuff in Rebels
related,
and in Rebels and Clone Wars.
Yeah,
that is part of the Mandalorian. Reason being is because the same guy is responsible for all 3 of those things.
Yes.
So people are like, oh, I love the Mandalorian, love this. You want a family version of that that's a really good animated show. You can watch Star Wars Rebels and watch Clone Wars.
Clone Wars is a bit longer, right? There's
Clone
quite
Wars
a few
is
seasons.
way longer.
Yeah.
Clone Wars is like 8 or 9 seasons. Apparently, though, I have not watched the final season of the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
Because I didn't watch Clone Wars for a very long time. And first few seasons can get a bit bumpy, just because there's a lot of filler and it's just not particularly interesting for some of it.
Yeah.
However, Star Wars Rebels is
from episode 1 to
in my opinion is on the dot, fantastic
from get-go.
Episode 1 right to the end.
So hopefully everything we've just prattled on about gives you guys a lot of content over the coming weeks.
Yeah,
whether it's just a mellow few weeks or few days with the family, or an unfortunate circumstance whether you're in a country that is still in lockdown and you just need things to burn through the days with. Really hopeful that these will be helpful for you guys. But as per usual, let us know if there's anything you guys recommend that you've watched recently or even a long time ago, similar to Jingle All the Way, that you would think is worthwhile for us to give it a watch, whether it's for a review or just for the hell of watching something. Let us know. And then that way other people within the community will be able to have access to those recommendations as well. But yeah, so coming up to the Christmas break, thank you guys very much for listening to us throughout these last few months.
Yeah.
Keen to obviously keep these podcasts going.
I honestly think after we've done the kind of reformatting since our test series, like over a year and a bit ago, like quite a while back, I've been thoroughly enjoying recording this with you, Benjamin.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Adam.
I have also just been really enjoying getting in and talking about stuff that I don't know, I think in times we've kind of needed, when you kind of need a break from things happening out there, that it's always nice to be able to turn something on and kind of just chill out, and also be able to have it's created kind of a space where we've been able to talk about these things with other people and have a little community around this. Which and of course, speaking of community, our Discord, you can interact with us primarily through Discord now. Also liking and commenting on the video on YouTube or
wherever podcast may be.
Leaving a review if your platform allows you to do that. If it allows you to throw stars at us, please, 5 of them would be lovely.
All the stars.
It's been really nice being able to record these episodes and just talk about something fun and light, and maybe give people some experiences where they
normally wouldn't have come across it.
They hadn't had them before.
Exactly right.
It's been really rewarding and a lot of fun.
Yes. So once again, thank you all very much for your time. Very much looking forward to providing more of these content for you guys in the new year. But more importantly, interacting with you. So thank you very much. And we will see you in the new year.
Bye.
Bye.